Well, due to some technical difficulties with the internet, it decided not to play ball for today's podcast. So I'll be adding this video in with the video that was somewhat podcasted, which you got 25 minutes of footage, which was wonderful. And I should be uploading this alongside that video. So, to tell you some interesting points and facts about growing up in the west of Clare, you need a car to get everywhere. Surprise. You can do a lot of fun stuff. So we did a lot of growing of stuff. I probably ate the best I think I will possibly ever eat, unless I own my own land and grow my own food, because my mum's partner at the time had a wonderful garden. Like, we had fresh peas, spinach, carrots, potatoes, leeks, cabbage, spinach, broad beans. I mean, honestly, you can go in there, so it's like, just have a bit of this, bit of that. Lettuce as well. Strawberries. I think we had tomatoes at some stage. We had a greenhouse which had a grapevine in it, which you can grow in Ireland, which is amazing. Fresh grapes, apples, plums, cooking apples, blackberries in the hedges, wild strawberries. Like, it was probably one of the best I've ever eaten. So living in the countryside does have its perks compared to living in the city. Like, you can grow fresh produce. You can wake up in the morning. There's dew on the grass. There's spiders. There's birds singing. You can have cats. You can have dogs. I had about 5-6 cats at one time, and we had kittens as well. And we had about 3 dogs. And it was such a wonderful experience having as a kid growing up, because I could go on my bike or I could go for a walk along the track. Nothing's ever going to happen, and it never did. Like, you can go for a walk in the forest, you find these old stone walls, you find the old stone buildings. There was one place which we called Ferryford, which was up on a hill away from our house, which had a massive stone ring around it of hand built, and then inside, like deep, you had to penetrate quite well inside the. Turn that off. Inside the woodland, and we found these old stone buildings with windows still. Like, honestly, hand-built stone buildings. I don't think there was any concrete there, with window shapes in, no roof, still standing. What? As a kid, you're like, this is crazy. This is insane. And there's old houses as well, like along the road. Deer, of course, as I was saying before. We had issues with foxes. So we had issues with foxes taking our chickens, because we had chickens for a time. I think one of the best stories I was told as a kid growing up was by my mum, when she said we used to have a pig called Sally the Pig, and as babies we used to ride on her back, and she just hold on to her back and she just go around with us, and she was so lovely and she was so caring, apparently. No, this is just reliving the lovely times. We had a little stream down near us where we had there were fish in there, and we tried building a raft, which I think collapsed spectacularly. And there was some lovely forests. Like, there are like don't get me wrong, like, it's not all pine forests now. There are some indigenous forests, but not many, unfortunately. And class trips, we would go for a walk down through these fields, through this little bit of woodland, trips in with your lunch. You got your lunch in your backpack, you got your stuff, and we would be chatting along the way, and then we would stop at this tree, and it's this massive oak tree, which was supposedly, as our teachers told us, and they had told us probably each year, it was planted by Brian Boru, who was the last king of Ireland about 1,000 years ago or more, I want to say. And he was apparently the last true king of Ireland, because he united the whole of Ireland into one state. And he planted an oak tree there, which he would climb up, and it was a massive oak tree, a massive, big, solid, straight in there sort of thing. And we had like a little oak forest behind us as well, with these big oak trees, literally. I still want to climb that, but I don't know how, because it's just these massive trunks and there aren't any branches low enough to climb up to, sort of thing. And one of the other benefits is my school was inside a forest, pretty much. Not all schools are. Mine was a Steiner school. State schools were pretty much concrete and tar and asphalt and a couple of hoops, a couple of buildings. Wasn't the best schools, I have to say, but But the rest of the countryside was lovely. You had fields you could run around in. At my friend's house, we'd run around into his forest and literally like, big pine trees, like bedding and like you just belt it. You're just going for it. You're going ham, just seeing how fast you can run down, sort of thing. And you want to see how far you can make it. And I'm getting bigger, just so it's easier to see my facial features, just so you can see how much fun it was. And then of course we did have TV, so we had Father Ted. I had Beyblades growing up as a kid, Yu-Gi-Oh. Again, the internet wasn't really a thing. Like we tried internet, very slow, and waking up. And for me, I love spiders. And if you're in the countryside, spiders love you. They do. They absolutely adore you. It's great. So I would wake up and I let the spiders live in my room because they would catch all the midges, which is the bane of Ireland. If sunset, it's been slightly wet that day, the midges are out in full force and you are bitten. You're like literally like I went back there this summer and I was just having a nice meal with my mum, who was back at the time, and her ex. We were just sat together having a meal on the lawn, and just the midges go vroom. I literally go like, get off me, and running inside the house, picking up everything, all the food and stuff, and getting all the tables and chairs back in the house, sort of thing, so you can hide away with them. Because they are. It's probably one of the worst things. Living near a bog and living near wetland is just the midges. Midges are insanity. But everything else is lovely, like the bracken, the willow, which you have to maintain, otherwise it overgrows. Running, like climbing walls, climbing buildings. I will say we had a shed behind us. I think you can see the top of the wall on top of the webcam, and it had a flat roof. So what I'll do is, if it's nice and sunny, just climb up there, lie down, and you're just sunbathing. It's just like, it's glorious. You're sitting with the sun. Sometimes I get a book and just flip over. Like if I had any chores to do, any jobs to do, jump up there, go to the very end, lie down. Nobody can see you. Nobody knows where you are. You just reading a book. And if everyone does catch you, you can jump off the other side to soft ground and leg it. Which is what we did sometimes. Sometimes we did that. But yeah, growing up in Ireland, the downsides were all your friends were far away. So you had to get on good terms with your family as a young age, which having 3 older brothers and sisters made it a little bit difficult, but we all survived, which was good, and we all get along today, which is even better. And there was one of the downsides is you have to cycle a couple of miles to meet your friends. You have to find ways to entertain yourself. So mine was it had a great echo, like it rebounded and reverbed. Oh, it was beautiful. So I would get massive blue drum, play it, and literally the echo, it's like yes. I think one of the biggest issues for me would have been the deer hunting, which you could hear going on because you heard the in the distance sort of thing. I would tend to scream out and shout out for them to try and scare away the deer and try and get them to disappear, because I never really liked that. I never liked the fact that they were deer hunting around us. You know, it was never an enjoyable idea. Even though I think once we did hang up. I think my mum got given a deer carcass by one of her friends, and it smelled so bad. You could not walk inside the shed for like a month. It was that. Oh, it smells so bad, so terrible. And everything is slow in the countryside. If you want a slow life, the countryside is the slow life, because you go out and you can just do things all day, and time just ekes on, just flows and ebbs. There's no real rush at all. When you're in the countryside, it's just meanders on. You just do your own little thing. You pitter patter here, you pitter patter there, pitter patter everywhere. And the road's always longer when you're a kid, which is what I found out. It's so weird walking around now, and just get everywhere so quick because you're fully grown legs. And we had lakes near us. We had a small lake called Munich Bay, which I grew up a couple of miles away from. So whenever it's lovely and sunny, we get driven down there. We had our canoes on the top. Canoes or kayaks, I think, because they're closed top. So we had like a 2-person kayak going out, or go for a swim, because it was such a weird lake. it would be flat for about half a mile, and then it just goes. And it's like lovely and warm, lovely and warm. It gets a bit deeper. It gets up to about here, up to the top of your nips. Going around. Oh, it's lovely. You see some ducks swimming around. Do. Oh, we're here again. And you literally step back and you've got a sandbank, and you step forward and it's just a drop to nothingness. It's such a weird lake, that lake. It just carries on sandy and lovely, and there's a few bits where there's like a mud lagoon, which is like heated mud which you can just sit in and just bubble up all around you. It doesn't smell. It smells fine. And literally you're like in this mud bath, like, oh, so hot, like a little sauna. And then you claw out and you go into the water, wash yourself off in the water, and you go for a swim, and then you jump back into the water again. It's like, oh, so good, so good, so tasty. But no, if you have any more questions, leave it down in the links in the comment below. And if it interests you so much, if there's enough interest, I will hopefully do a proper stream next week, or do a special stream to cover more details, and I'll have chats with some of my friends who I grew up with, and they can tell more about where they live, because they lived quite a few miles away from me. They're different experiences. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, and humanoids of all ages, I hope you enjoyed this broken up podcast today, and I hope it gives you a bit of appreciation for living in the countryside. And if you have lived in the countryside, you know what it's like. If you lived in the city, go for a trek in the countryside sometime, and spend, if you can spend a couple of weeks out there, maybe with a friend or Airbnb, give it a go. It's a lovely experience. Well, until next time, everybody, until Monday 6:30 p.m, where hopefully we do a successful stream if the internet does work. Thank you, and thank you once again. Goodbye.